Incredible discovery, Millionaire captures heartwarming dance with blind boy, unexpected transformation. In the heart of their quaint Midwest town, Jack had spent years scrubbing floors at the local high school, his back aching, yet his heart light. Every day, he transformed the dusty halls into a polished welcome for eager students, but it was his 10-year-old son, Dylan, who truly shone like a star. Though blind, Dylan danced with a grace that seemed to enchant everything in sight. Those who watched couldn't help but smile. The boy swayed to the music only he could hear, letting the rhythm take him far beyond the ordinary. In his little world, his dreams of dancing like the stars danced within him. That Friday evening, the community gathered in the park, a blend of laughter and the sweet scent of freshly baked pies wafting through the air. Jack stood on the edge, quietly watching the crowd. Each familiar face brought a soft warmth to his heart, even as he tightened his grip on the worry that often clouded his mind about their finances. But then, a melody swept through the air, louder than all the chatter. Dylan's head perked up, his face lighting up like the bright autumn sun, and before Jack could blink, he was on his feet, moving to that irresistible sound. Everyone turned, captivated. Dylan danced with a spirit that was entirely his own. The way he twirled and spun, lost in pure bliss, created a rippling effect through the crowd. Whispers of admiration and awe filled the park. Even Thomas, the newcomer millionaire with a reputation for coldness, paused. He had strolled through the gathering, his heart untouched by the warmth of small-town life until now. It was as if the music pulled him closer, making him a captive to Dylan's joy. "Look at him go!" someone gasped. A few parents teared up, touched by the sight. Jack's chest swelled with pride, his smile faltering as he noticed all eyes on his son. At that moment, Thomas captured it on his phone, seeking a glimpse into the extraordinary scene. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In no time, the dance video went viral, capturing hearts across the nation. Jack felt a stream of pride surge, and yet, beneath the surface lay a gnawing anxiety. This newfound fame could be their blessing or their curse. Life became a whirlwind of media attention and opportunities, each new prospect bright and shiny, yet laden with the threat of losing their tight-knit family bond. But when misunderstandings surfaced between Jack and Thomas, a storm brewed. Fists clenched, emotions raw, Jack faced the fears of losing Dylan to a world too focused on fame. Their different worlds began to collide. How could he protect his son from the glitz and glam that might overshadow the love that defined them? Would he see the boy he adored caught in the chaos of ambition? In that moment, the question hung heavy in the air, leaving readers wondering if they could bridge the divide between wealth and heart, or if the brilliance of their connection would fade away in the face of the unforgiving spotlight. Jack paced back and forth in the small living room, each step echoing his mounting frustration. The once comforting walls that used to cradle their laughter now felt imposing, stifling his thoughts. He could hear the soft sound of Dylan in the other room, humming a tune he was busy inventing, a melody that drifted through the space like a ray of sunshine. Why can't Thomas just understand? Jack muttered to himself, running a hand through his hair. Each time Thomas suggested another publicity stunt, a new video shoot, Jack felt a wave of panic. They weren't in this for fame. They were in it for family, for connection, for love. Just the evening before, Thomas had called to suggest they appear on a popular daytime talk show. "It's a chance to expand your son's reach," he had insisted, excitement lacing his voice. "Everyone wants to see Dylan, Jack. He's a star." But to Jack, Dylan wasn't a star. He was his little boy, full of dreams and laughter. "I don't want him to feel like an object, Thomas," Jack had retorted, frustration spilling into his words. "That's not what we're about. Yet now, as he stood in the living room, Jack felt that angry resolve begin to crumble. Was Dylan truly happy, or was he merely absorbing the excitement of it all? Did fame offer a chance to inspire? Or did it risk losing the innocent joy that danced within him? Families like theirs, those tied not by glitter, but by heart, were getting lost in the shuffle of the viral buzz. Just as doubt began to settle within him, Dylan burst into the room, his face flushed with joy. "Daddy! Daddy! Did you hear that one?" He spun on the spot, imagining the brush of a partner's hand guiding him as he danced. Jack's heart softened, watching his son, the little boy with big dreams. "What's that song, buddy?" "It's the one we'll perform at the park." "Can we practice, please?" Dylan's eyes sparkled with that unfiltered joy that few could grasp. Jack knelt down, meeting his son's gaze. "Of course, my champion," he said, his heart swelling. They practiced, and every twirl made Jack forget the world outside. For a moment, nothing else mattered. It was just them together in rhythm, sharing a love that no one could tarnish. That evening, as they finished dancing, Jack opened his phone to a flood of notifications. He glanced at Dylan, who was bouncing on his toes, still vibrating from their dance. A voice chimed from his phone, an alert from Thomas, asking him to call back. Jack let out a deep breath. His finger hovered over the screen. But what if he told Thomas they had to take a step back? What if they simply needed to pause, breathe, and focus on what truly mattered? As he wrestled with this thought, Dylan swung into his arms, giggling. "Let us show the world how to dance, Daddy." Jack couldn't help but smile, the warmth flooding back into him. But then a new message pinged. It was a news headline: "Blind boy dancers rise could change everything." Jack stared at the words, feeling that magic ripple turning into something heavier. What cost would come with change? The questions baffled him, but deep down, in his gut, he knew there was a looming choice to make. Could their bond withstand the pressures stirring on the horizon? Would Dylan remain the boy with the dancing heart, or would he become someone swallowed by the dazzling lights? And as Jack pondered the crossroads before them, he felt a chill, a voice within warning him that the next days could either shine with hope or shadow their reality. Jack sat on the edge of the sofa, his heart thudding in his chest. He couldn't shake the image of that headline from his mind. It felt like a tempest brewing, swirling with emotions he couldn't capture. The constant ping of his phone mingled with the soft hum of Dylan's new song drifting from the other room. Each notification felt heavier than the last, a reminder that decisions loomed with each click. "Daddy, can you help me with the routine?" Dylan's voice broke through his thoughts, bright and innocent. Jack turned to see his son, little arms outstretched and a sparkle in his blind eyes that made his heart both ache and swell. "Absolutely, buddy," Jack replied, forcing a smile. They stepped into the open space of the living room, away from the demands of the outside world. Jack took Dylan's hands, feeling the warmth radiating from them. "All right, let's show everyone what we can do." With each movement, Jack felt the tension ease. Dancing was their truth, a language only they understood. They twirled and spun, lost in the joy of the moment, the world around them fading away. But just as they hit a rhythm, Jack's phone demanded attention again, flashing with another alert. He hesitated, hands still gripping Dylan gently as the boy laughed, lost in the exhilaration of their dance. Jack's heart filled with worry, but he couldn't let it show. "Want to add some jumps?" Jack suggested. "Yes." "Like a waterfall," Dylan said, eyes sparkling with excitement. Jack grinned. That was it, imagery, freedom, unfiltered joy. They leaped and twisted, cups full of laughter spilling over. But the phone remained a heavy presence, a reminder of the chaos waiting outside. As they paused to catch their breath, Jack glanced at the screen. Messages were pouring in: friends, family, and fans already responding to the incendiary news that was spreading. Panic trickled in again as he realized this was bigger than just them now. "Dylan, sweetie," Jack began, feeling a knot in his stomach. What if we had to wire you sad, Daddy?" Dylan asked, tilting his head, his expression turning serious. "I'm just thinking about what it all means for us," Jack confessed, kneeling down to meet his son's gaze. "All this attention. It could change everything, you know." "But Daddy," Dylan said, with a child's sincerity, "I want to share my dance. If it makes people happy, we should do it." Jack felt a pang in his chest. Did his little boy truly grasp what it meant? He wasn't sure was that innocent enthusiasm a sparkle of hope, or a risk waiting to be sheltered from the storm of publicity. "Sometimes it's not about the sparkle," Jack said slowly, searching for the right words. "It's about what we feel together. If it ever stops being that, we'll do something else, right? Family first." Dylan smiled brightly. "Always, Daddy. That's what makes us strong." Jack felt a sense of warmth wash over him. His son, with all his honesty, was a reminder that the real magic was in their bond, not the numbers or fame. But just then, the phone buzzed again, a new message lighting up the screen. It was from Thomas, and the subject line read, "We need to discuss your future." A shiver ran down Jack's spine. "Dylan, buddy, let us take a break for a second." The excitement in Dylan's features dimmed, and Jack's heart sank. The moment felt fragile, like a flickering candle about to be snuffed out. What if he found himself wedged between two worlds, the love of his son and the relentless pull of fame? How could he protect the spark they shared? Jack looked into Dylan's trusting eyes, a whirlwind of conflict swirling in his mind. He needed clarity. And underneath all of it, a burning question loomed: was he willing to risk everything just to chase a fleeting spotlight? With a shaky breath, Jack prepared to navigate a conversation that could shatter their precious world or strengthen it. But deep down, uncertainty lingered as he realized, the real dance was only just beginning. Jack's phone buzzed again, the screen pulsing with Thomas's name like a silent siren. He swallowed, that knot in his stomach tightening. "Dylan, I'm just going to check this really quick," he murmured, hoping his voice didn't betray the tremors of anxiety spiraling inside him. "Okay, Daddy," Dylan answered, clearly still riding the high of their earlier joyful spins. He plopped down on the floor, eyes shining with anticipation. With a deep breath, Jack opened the message. Thomas's words lay there, stark and demanding, each line an echo of the chaos brewing beyond their cozy home. This was the world of headlines and trending hashtags, where everything he feared rattled just below the surface. "We need to discuss your future." His heart sank. The future felt like an endless whirlwind, one that spiraled away from Dylan's carefree laughter and toward a dissolution of their shared joy. Breath hitching in his throat, Jack leaned against the wall, the coolness grounding him as he considered his next move. "Hey Dylan," he said quietly, trying to keep his tone light, "let us take a quick break from dancing. Want to play a game instead?" "Yeah. Can we play that counting game?" Dylan's enthusiasm returned, pulling Jack from the precipice of worry. His son always knew how to refocus the energy around them, redirecting worry into wonder. "Of course. I'll count and you can dance like a funny little frog until I hit 10, Jack suggested, a spark of joy igniting within him. He needed this, they needed this, something to keep their sanctuary intact, if only for a moment longer. Dylan giggled, springing up and wiggling his hands. "I'm a frog. Ribbit ribbit." As Dylan began to leap around, Jack felt warmth envelop him. He counted slowly, exaggerating his voice for each number. 1, 2, 3. It took just moments for the room to fill with Dylan's laughter, the sound chasing away the shadows of doubt. And yet, as Jack watched him leap with unbridled joy, a pang of internal conflict crashed over him. The symbols of fame touted on his phone held a weight he couldn't ignore. 10. He called out, and Dylan collapsed into a fit of giggles. "That was the best frog jump ever," Dylan said, breathless. "Totally." Jack laughed, heart swelling. Yet the joy was undercut with the reality lurking beyond their door. Would this newfound attention disrupt what they had? What they built together through their dance of love and trust, as he watched Dylan gleefully flop about, Jack snapped another picture, wanting to freeze this moment forever. In that instant, the simplicity of their bond illuminated the room brighter than any headline could. And yet, he feared at what cost this moment might come. "Dylan, you really want everyone to see us dance?" Jack asked, the seriousness of his tone striking an odd chord with the levity of their game. "Of course. Dancing makes me happy. I want to make people happy, Daddy." Dylan's voice rang with conviction, embodying a purity of spirit that sent shivers down Jack's spine. Jack knelt, meeting his son's gaze. "I want that for you too, but what if people don't understand? What if it changes everything, buddy?" Dylan frowned, his small brow furrowed with childlike wisdom. "Change isn't bad, Daddy. Remember our story? We change the world with every dance we share. It's like ripples." Jack contemplated Dylan's naive yet profound insight, something so profoundly simple but essential. "You really think so?" "Yeah. Just like at Grandma's pond." Dylan chirped, excitement tinging his voice. Jack grinned, hopeful. As he locked eyes with his son's joyful gaze, the doubt that once loomed began to lift slightly. Perhaps, just maybe, they could navigate this storm together, but just as he felt that glimmer of strength bolster his resolve, the buzzing of Jack's phone resumed. This time, it was two words that sent a rush of uncertainty through him: media coverage. With Dylan bouncing nearby, full of joyous energy, the storm of reality loomed ever closer. Did they truly have the power to weather it together, or was this just the beginning of a much greater dilemma? Jack's thoughts raced as he grabbed his phone, the implications of the message sinking in deep. What if this was the moment that defined them? Jack stared at the screen, the words blurring as his heart raced. What was meant to be a private moment, a cherished father-son dance, now threatened to burst into the public eye. His mind spun with images of flashbulbs and headlines. Would they see only the cute boy dancing? Or would they tear apart the vulnerabilities that Jack held so dear? "Daddy, are we going to play again?" Dylan's voice broke through the haze, innocent and bright. Jack blinked, focusing on the joy radiating from his son, grounding himself in that moment. "Yeah, buddy. Let us play." He mustered a smile, even though the weight of the phone still pressed against his palm. He knew he had a decision to make, a step to take forward or backward into uncertain waters. "What game?" Dylan asked, spinning on his feet, his enthusiasm a stark contrast to the storm brewing in Jack's mind. "The drawing game. You draw something, and I guess what it is. Ready?" "Okay." Dylan shouted, already grabbing a crayon from a nearby box. Jack watched as he began to scribble vigorously, his small body bending over the paper with the intensity of a true artist. Yet, as Dylan's concentration deepened, Jack's thoughts scattered. Should they ignore the world outside? Could they protect their little bubble? The thought lingered, but then he felt a tremor of guilt. His son deserved to share his joy with the world. He remembered Dylan's words about dancing and change, seeing the ripple effect in his mind's eye. "Hey, Dylan," Jack ventured, his voice softer now, almost cautious. "What if we do share our dances? What would that mean for you?" Dylan paused mid-drawing, his face scrunching up in thought. "It would be fun. We could make lots of people smile. But what about if someone doesn't like our dancing?" Jack pressed, wanting to uncover all sides of this decision. "I just want to dance, Daddy," Dylan exclaimed. "I'm happy. That's all that matters." The sincerity in Dylan's voice hit Jack hard. Realizing the purity in his son's carefree resolution, he leaned back against the wall, letting the warmth and lightness in Dylan's enthusiasm seep into him. Maybe there was power in their shared joy, something that could shine a light on the darker corners of the world, something they could control. Just then, Jack's phone buzzed yet again, a different chime this time, as if echoing the turmoil inside him. He stole a glance and saw the message preview from Thomas: a conference in 2 days to discuss the potential media coverage. The significance of it loomed large, a choice hanging in the air like a specter. Dylan. Jack began, instructions forming in his mind with each breath. Let us do something different today. How about we record our next dance? Just for fun. Yes. Dylan squealed, turning to face his dad, eyes sparkling with mischief. Can I wear my sparkly shoes? Absolutely. Jack laughed, the idea already sparking a plan in his mind. Perhaps the camera wouldn't just capture their movements, it could narrate their story, the love, the laughter, the togetherness. As they set up a makeshift stage in the living room, Jack felt hope flooding his heart. Maybe this wasn't just a moment for the world, it was a moment for them. Ready, Daddy? Dylan wiggled in place, palm extended toward Jack. Ready, buddy. Let us show them what we've got. Jack took his son's hand, the warmth wrapping around them like a shield. With music filling the air, they began to dance, each twist and turn a celebration of their bond, a proclamation against the doubts swirling in Jack's mind. But deep down, he felt another question brewing. What if this opportunity led to something greater, or something that could tear them apart? As they spun and laughed, joy pulling at their hearts, Jack's mind couldn't shake the underlying tension. Was this really the path they wanted, or were they unleashing a storm they couldn't hope to control? The dance continued, but even as the rhythm carried them, the future loomed closer than ever. Would their celebration of joy withstand whatever waves came crashing next? Would they make it through this together? Jack gripped his son's hand tighter, feeling the pulse of uncertainty intertwining with the warmth of hope. The music faded softly as they finished their dance, the room still vibrating with their shared laughter. Jack caught his breath, watching Dylan prance around the living room, his sparkly shoes catching the light as they twinkled with each stomp. The innocence and joy radiating from his son flooded Jack with warmth, but deep down, a question lingered. Was this happiness worth the risk? Can we do it again, Daddy? Just once more. Dylan chirped, a huge grin plastered across his face, his eyes shining with excitement. Why not? Jack replied, surrendering to the happiness that enveloped them. They could wipe away any worries with another round of laughter. The music resumed, filling the air once again. As they danced, Jack's mind wandered to their recent discussions, the thought of sharing their joy, inviting others into their world of rhythm and love. But flashes of ominous headlines flashed in his mind. Comments, critiques, and endless speculation. What if his vulnerability as a father became fodder for the judgmental eyes of the world? Look, Daddy! Dylan shouted, twirling like a little tornado, his laughter spilling over like a fountain. I'm a dancing star. Such a bright star, buddy, Jack replied, feigning cheerfulness but grappling with the reality that their moment could easily transform into something beyond their control. He remembered the lessons he learned from his own father about protecting family and keeping things private. Did this embrace of public joy betray that lesson? Can we make it a surprise for everyone? Dylan asked, his innocent charm cutting through Jack's spiraling thoughts. You know, when they see it, they'll smile and dance too. Jack hesitated as he watched Dylan beam up at him, radiating love and hope. A surprise, huh? You think they'll see us dance and want to join in? Yeah. And if they see us having fun, they might want to dance with us. Dylan's eyes sparked with ideas, shimmering with innocence. Okay, let us keep it a surprise for now. Just us, alright? Jack wrapped his arms around Dylan, thinking maybe keeping some parts of their lives private could shield them from the storm brewing outside. Yay! I love surprises. Dylan squealed, jumping in place. The dance continued, the chaotic twirls becoming a flickering flame of joy that filled every corner of the room. But in the back of Jack's mind, doubt loomed. Was it selfish to hold on to this moment? Would they be able to share their happiness authentically without being torn apart by outside expectations? Finally, they collapsed onto the couch, breathless and smiling. Dylan curled against Jack, his little body fitting perfectly under his father's arm. Daddy, what if it's the best dance ever? Like a magical dance. Dylan's voice was playful yet innocent, wrapping around Jack's heart like gentle fingers. With you, it always is, Jack murmured, wishing he could freeze this moment, the last sliver of uncomplicated joy before everything changed, but just then, a loud buzz broke the fragile bubble they had created. Jack's phone lit up with another notification, this time from Thomas regarding the upcoming conference. The question from before echoed in his mind, feeling heavier all of a sudden. What if the world doesn't understand our magic? Jack whispered, not fully realizing he spoke out loud. Oh, Daddy, magic is everywhere. We just have to share it. Dylan replied, his childlike wisdom piercing through Jack's worries. The phone buzzed again, and this time it felt like a warning bell, reminding him of the thin line they were walking. Sharing their dance could either create a path to something beautiful or lead them down another stormy road. As Jack gazed into his son's innocent eyes, he realized he needed to choose one path soon. He wondered, could their shared moments spark a light in others, or would they be swallowed up in shadows? The dance may have ended, but the questions loomed larger than ever. What kind of father would Jack be if he took that leap? Was he ready to let the world in, or should he protect this precious bond at all costs? The decisions lay ahead, heavy and daunting. Would he risk it all for joy, both his and Dylan's? Jack's thoughts were spinning like a top, a mixture of hope and fear tangling together. The dance had been a pure, unfiltered version of happiness, bright and shining, but shadows loomed just outside. He glanced at his phone again, lurking there like a witching hour clock, reminding him of the world's relentless gaze. Why is Daddy thinking so much? Dylan's soft voice broke through the haze of Jack's mind, pulling him back into the moment. The innocence in his son's gaze was a reminder of what truly mattered. What's on your mind, buddy? Jack asked, forcing a smile, hoping Dylan wouldn't read too deeply into his worries. Do you think other kids will dance with us? That they love it the way we do? Dylan's excitement resparked something in Jack, igniting a flicker of optimism that had dimmed under the weight of his thoughts. I think they might. Jack started carefully, weighing the implications. But they could also be surprised. What's wrong with surprises? Surprises are fun. Dylan exclaimed, bouncing off the couch and pretending to dance like a superstar again, arms flailing and laughter spilling out. Jack couldn't help but chuckle, the boy's spirit infectious. It reminded him of the joy they had just shared, reminding him why he even considered stepping beyond their insulated world. Okay, Jack relented, let's think about this. If we share our dance, maybe we can help others smile like we do. But if we do, it will mean being brave. Dylan stopped in his tracks, fierce determination taking root in his little heart. We can be brave together, Daddy. Jack's heart swelled at the thought. The connection they shared wasn't merely their private world anymore, it could branch out into something larger, a dance floor just waiting to welcome others. All right, I promise, Jack said, we'll share our dance, but first, I need to figure out how to keep it safe for both of us. The exhilaration on Dylan's face was contagious. Yes. We can make the best dance ever and invite everyone. He shouted, twirling on the spot, his laughter bubbling as he imagined the scene, but deep down, Jack's heart raced with uncertainty. Was he ready for that level of exposure, to risk their moment of magic to judgment? He glanced at his phone again, this time staring at the name flashing on the screen: Thomas. What did he want now? The conference was coming up fast, and he had no idea how to prepare for it without letting this precious bond slip away. Let's make it a surprise for everyone, Jack suggested, feeling the weight of his responsibility slip a little, but we'll practice first. We want to be ready when the moment comes. Yes. Like a secret dance team. Dylan clapped his hands excitedly, completely unaware of the storm of emotions crashing inside his father's chest. Jack pulled Dylan in for a hug, feeling the urgency creeping in again. It was more than just a dance, it was a chance to live openly. But if they made this leap, they could be met with applause or harsh criticism. Could they handle both? Jack sighed, a whirlwind of anticipation and dread swirling in his chest. Just as he opened his mouth to respond, the phone buzzed again, this time with a message from Thomas. It was a link to a news article that had just been published. Curiosity piqued, Jack clicked the notification with a trembling hand. The headline leaped out at him: Millionaire captures heartwarming dance with blind boy, uncovering unexpected transformations. His breath caught in his throat. Was that them? Was their story already being shared, even before he'd taken the leap himself? Daddy? Are we still going to practice? Dylan tugged on Jack's shirt, pulling him from his thoughts. Jack knew now. The world was watching, ready or not. His choice loomed freshly before him, but this time it sparked a rush of hope instead of fear. Would they step confidently into their light, or would they pull back into shadows? One way or another, the door had swung wide open. What awaited them on the other side? Jack felt a quickening in his heart as he absorbed the weight of the headline. His fingers trembled slightly as he held the device, the implications rushing in like a tidal wave. This wasn't just about their secret anymore. The world had caught a glimpse, and he felt both exhilarated and exposed. Dylan's voice brought him back to the moment. Daddy? What's wrong? You look funny. Jack took a deep breath. It was a mixture of concern and pride swirling within him. Let's practice our dance, buddy. This is important now. He shot a glance at the notification again, as if searching for answers within the screen. But there were none, only the flashing words that promised either glory or misunderstanding. Yay! Show me what you're thinking, Dylan said, his eyes sparkling with eagerness. His innocence was a balm for Jack's brewing anxiety. They moved to the open space in the living room, and Jack felt the familiar rhythm of the dance rising in him. This space, this moment, was theirs. With a few beats of his heart, he raised his arms, guiding Dylan into a basic twirl. The boy laughed, his joy echoing off the walls, bouncing back with infinite light. Jack couldn't help but grin. This was what mattered. Okay, now let's add that spin you like. Jack said, twirling Dylan around again. For a fleeting moment, everything felt right. The fear of exposure dimmed, and the love between them shone through. Dylan's laughter filled the room like music. Then the thought crashed back into Jack's mind: what if the video drew negativity? What if they were branded as spectacle instead of cherished? Daddy? Dylan panted, barely able to catch his breath from the spinning. Maybe we should wear special clothes. Something that makes us sparkle even more. Jack chuckled and nodded. Great idea. Something that says we're going to have fun. He could see Dylan picturing the costumes, his imagination running wild with colorful ideas. Maybe blue for you, 'cause it's like the sky, and yellow for me, because it's warm like the sun. We'll be a team. Dylan's enthusiasm was contagious. Yes, a team. Jack echoed, even though he felt a weight settle in his chest. Could they really wear the colors boldly, shining brightly, if the world chose not to embrace their light? Just then, the phone buzzed again. A message from Thomas, a reminder of the conference tomorrow, was met with an urgency that felt overwhelming. This was the moment that would determine everything, not just for him, but for Dylan. Hey, buddy. Let's take a break for a moment and sit down, okay? He didn't want to crush Dylan's excitement but needed to gather his thoughts. The enthusiasm felt like a fragile bubble that could pop any second. Did I do something wrong? Dylan asked, suddenly solemn. No, love, not at all. You did everything right. Jack knelt beside him. I just need to think about how we want to share this with others. Dylan nodded, his little face earnest. But I want everyone to see how fun we are. And I want to show them that dancing is magic. Jack wrapped his arms around Dylan, that genuine warmth pressing out his fears. You're right. It is magic. And we can make it magical for everyone else too. But we'll have to be very smart about it. As Jack sat back, he caught the flicker of excitement returning to Dylan's eyes. So, can we really teach them to dance? What if they love it? The optimism in Dylan was untouchable, yet Jack felt the old shadows creeping back. If we teach them love, we have to prepare for everyone's reactions. Some may love it and some may not. Dylan thought hard, his brow crinkling. But if we make them smile, then it's still worth it, right? Jack's heart soared at those words. Dylan's unwavering belief in the power of joy was something Jack admired deeply. This was more than just about dancing, it was about bravery, his own and that of his son. Absolutely, buddy. It is worth it. He planted a kiss on the top of Dylan's head. They had to navigate this unknown together, stepping into a world that awaited their sparkle. Little did they know, just beyond their door waited a series of outcomes that could change the course of their lives forever. Would the world embrace their dance, or would they face a battle they never expected? Once more, Jack's heart beat with hopeful anticipation. The stage was set, all they needed now was to step into the light. What would they find when they did? The morning of the conference arrived, cloaked in a shroud of anticipation. Jack awoke to the soft golden light spilling through the curtains, illuminating Dylan's peaceful face as he slept, still dreaming of dances and colors. Jack reached over and brushed a strand of hair from his son's forehead, feeling an overwhelming rush of love wash over him. Today held a promise, but it also draped a veil of uncertainty over his shoulders. As he prepared breakfast, Jack replayed the moments leading up to this day in his mind. The video had circulated faster than he could have ever imagined, drawing eyes from all around. Some were curious, others judgmental. He knew the world could be tough, and the thought of Dylan facing harshness made his stomach churn. But the mention of magic reignited something deep within him. Maybe, just maybe, this would engage people in a way that could change their perspectives. Daddy! Dylan burst into the kitchen, a bolt of energy. The sight of his son, bright-eyed and clutching a bright yellow shirt, reminded Jack of the promise they made to shine amid the storm. I picked this. I want to be a sunbeam. Can I wear it to the conference? Dylan asked, his voice bubbling with excitement. Of course, buddy. You're going to light up the whole room, Jack replied, forcing a smile through the gnawing fear. Once they finished breakfast, Jack led Dylan to the living room where they had practiced so many routines. The atmosphere felt electric. They turned on some music and danced, letting the rhythm mold their every movement. Each twirl and leap made Jack forget the weight of the outside world, if only for a moment. They were a team, surrounded by magic. As they danced, Jack paused to take in Dylan's earnestness. The boy seemed to embody hope, his laughter a melody that resonated deep within Jack's heart. No matter what happens today, okay? We dance together, and we face whatever comes with joy. Always together. Dylan exclaimed, wrapping his tiny arms around Jack's legs. Always, Jack whispered, his resolve building. Soon it was time to leave. They stepped out into the brisk morning air, the sounds of the world surrounding them growing loud and fast. They made their way to the conference venue, a place that felt imposing. Jack adjusted his jacket, feeling out of place amidst the polished steel and vibrant city life. As they arrived, a crowd had gathered, a thrumming energy filling the air. Jack's heart raced, but Dylan only clutched his hand tighter, as if reassuring his father. Within moments, they walked through the doors. The audience's buzz turned to silence, and eyes darted anxiously to the duo. Jack's breath caught in his throat. The weight of expectation settled around him, and he felt vulnerable under the scrutiny. Dylan, oblivious to the tension, beamed and waved, brightening the somber atmosphere. Welcome. The moderator announced, his voice smooth but laced with a hint of uncertainty. Today, we're privileged to witness a very unique performance. Jack's heart beat in time with the pulse of the room. This was it. The moment they had dreamed of. But just before they began, someone from the back spoke up. What is so special about a dance between a man and a blind boy? Jack felt the air shift, his stomach dropping. He glanced down at Dylan, who was still blissfully grinning, unaware of the potential storm brewing. Every expectation suddenly felt like a weight he could hardly bear. Dylan. Jack started, but he knew he needed to protect his son, to shield him from those sharp edges of the world. Yet, before Jack could say more, the very thing he feared most began to unfold. Would their journey end here, or could joy still break through the darkness? Jack grasped Dylan's hand tightly, ready to respond. Would he let the world define them? Or would they dance their truth into a new narrative? In the moment of silence that followed, the soft hum of uncertainty filled the air, almost palpable. Jack's throat tightened as he looked down at Dylan, who remained blissfully unaware, eyes sparkling, radiating pure joy. That innocent spirit was his beacon, and in that instant, Jack made a choice. He straightened, taking a deep breath, feeling the tidal waves of doubt colliding with his resolve. With a voice steady and full of love, Jack replied, "What is special is that this dance is about connection, not spectacle. It's about overcoming barriers that life throws our way." The room fell into a hush, eyes captivated by the raw authenticity of a father's love. Dylan turned to Jack, tilting his head with a curious grin. "Can we show them what we can do?" he asked, his faith in their shared magic unwavering. Jack nodded, a radiant smile breaking through his initial fears. The rhythm that had once sustained them became a rallying call. As the music began, they launched into their routine, the familiar dance weaving around them like a soft embrace. Each step was deliberate, each twirl heartfelt. Jack felt everything inside him align. The worry, the doubts, the fears of judgment, all faded into the background as he saw how Dylan danced, carefree and pure, lost in his own world of beat and bliss. The crowd was still, soaking in the moment. Jack remembered the warmth of their living room, the moments when their laughter echoed off the walls, the joy of just being together. This was their truth. His heart swelled, and with each spin they took, a little piece of doubt dissipated. Each movement told a story bigger than themselves of love, connection, and overcoming the odds, and then they harmonized in a stunning crescendo. As they danced, the crowd began to respond. Whispers of awe rippled through the audience, igniting a spark that quickly transformed into applause. One clap after another, and the energy shifted from skepticism to admiration. When their dance ended, Jack scooped Dylan into his arms, beaming with a pride that lit up his spirit. "You did it, my sunshine!" he exclaimed. Dylan's laughter danced through the air, blissfully untouched by the flares of the outside world. The moderator stepped forward, voice booming with newfound admiration. "That was extraordinary," he said. "Dance may have no words, but your performance spoke volumes. It reminds us that joy can be found in unexpected places, and it's a gift worth sharing." As the applause swelled, Jack felt something transformative wash over him. It wasn't simply validation, it was the realization that their love could stand stronger than fame's fleeting spotlight. They had shared their light, and instead of the harshness that Jack anticipated, there was understanding. Looking around, Jack saw heads nodding, smiles blossoming. Even some of those who had raised questions before were now clapping enthusiastically. "It's all about the magic," he thought, echoing Dylan's earlier wisdom. As they exited the stage, the air was charged with hope. Jack felt his heart swell, not just for the applause but for the invisible thread connecting them all in the room. They weren't just two performers anymore, they were part of a larger conversation, a celebration of love, acceptance, and the remarkable gift of sharing joy. On their way out, one by one, audience members approached to offer a sincere passion for their story. Jack felt a sense of unity, hope sparked in the eyes of those they had touched. "Daddy, they liked us!" Dylan exclaimed, pulling Jack back into the moment, tugging at his sleeve with childish excitement. "Yes, buddy. They really did. You shone like the star you are." Jack squeezed him tight. From that day forward, the duo embraced their path, sharing their dance not simply for fame, but for connection. They started reaching out to children's hospitals, teaching dance to other kids, creating a ripple effect of inspiration. The world wasn't always kind, but on their terms, they would make it a place filled with acceptance and joy. Jack and Dylan found themselves increasingly tied together. Not just as father and son, but as advocates for love, light, and dancing hearts. Together, they danced into a future built on creativity, courage, and a magic only they shared, the one that transformed their lives and touched the lives of many. As Jack held Dylan tight, the weight of uncertainty disappeared. The future was still unwritten, but now, they understood, every leap of faith was worth it if it brought them closer together. Join them on this journey, believe in the dance, and share their story far and wide. So what are you waiting for? You need to subscribe now to catch all the inspiring moments. Leave a like to fuel the algorithm and spread this positive wave. Comment below with your feelings about this incredible journey. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel this transformative magic. Let's spread the joy.